What
Jim
is
Crane.
going on?
What is going on in Houston, man? So Jim Crane is the owner of the Houston Astros. He's been touted as one of the best owners in baseball for a lot of reasons. Number one being his willingness to spend, his prowess at assembling a front office in which player development and scouting comes first. You look at this Astros team and the homegrown talent within it is incredibly impressive. Anyways, long story short, James Click was fired. He was offered a 1-year extension, which he turned down because why wouldn't you after winning the World Series?
Yeah.
Not just James Click, but then the assistant general manager, which is interesting because Jim Crane had a real problem last season with Click because he brought in, I think it was 11 extra scouts and 2 assistant general managers on Crane's dime. Right? I don't know what this cost him, but I guarantee it's under $1 million for
All
like
11 probably cost $1 million.
yeah, like literally, like with the assistant general
Yeah.
managers. Like I guarantee this is a drop in the bucket, and it doesn't even it's allotted at a different level than player salary. Like
Right.
the front office salary is its own entity. And they won a World Series.
In 6 games. All right. Cue the Seinfeld meme. This is just too good to not share. So this is for all the Seinfeld lovers and people over 30 that we know. Here's George Costanza giving Derek Jeter and I don't know who's with him. Is like Gary Sheffield batting advice. Jeter's like, but we just won the World Series. And George Costanza with the smirk. Yeah, in 6 games. Give me a contract extension. We just won the World Series. Yeah, but you didn't sweep. We're looking for a guy who can win the World Series in 4. So it's weird, man. I don't know who's at the helm now giving out money. If they just signed Rafael Montero, like this is
It is, I don't know. And listen, as we watch it time and time again, as soon as an owner starts to get too many of his fingers in the pie, things go terribly, terribly wrong, right? Like just ask the Los Angeles Angels about that problem. Okay. Jim Crane has been an excellent owner, and I can't see him messing with this formula that has worked for him for years. I just don't get it, man. And I think James Click is going to be scooped up instantly. I mean, he just won a World Series.
He'll land on his feet. If Charlie Montoyo can find another job, I'm sure World Series champion Click will do just fine as well.
And it's interesting because Dusty Baker was also offered only a 1-year deal, but Dusty Baker's 73. And he was like, sure, I'll come back for a year. I don't care. If you're trying to chase me out, I'm probably going to chase myself out in a year. Like, he's probably ready to hang it up shortly anyways. And he's just like, yeah, I'll come defend the World Series championship for 1 more year here and see what happens. Like, why wouldn't he? But James Click took it as a bit of an insult. And it kind of was an insult. I think this was all a plan to get him to turn it down so that he could be fired without that term being attached to it, right?
You know what? Good for him. I wish him the best of luck. And after he hits 62 home runs after betting on himself this year, I hope I hope he gets a big payday somewhere else.
Which is interesting. I didn't even look at the teams who need a general manager. Is there a general manager hole open right now?
Well, New York Yankees haven't exactly brought what's his face Cashman back yet. He's still operating baseball operations there, but maybe they reevaluate now. I think his contract's up in December. They haven't formally, and I know they've brought Aaron Boone back as clubhouse manager there. Cashman's not locked up yet. Like he's still doing the negotiations with Aaron Judge. He's still at the helm essentially, but he does not have a guaranteed future. You know, there might be a handshake agreement that like, hey, we will extend you, and we just got to work out the numbers, right? But maybe this changes things. If I'm the Yankees fans, I would seriously look at it.
I mean, is this the Ross Atkins of John Schneider's our guy unless somebody magically appears that's way better?
Yeah, that's kind of what it feels like. Like, and then I don't know.
That's a really good point, because if I'm Brian Cashman, I'm sweating now, right? I
yeah,
felt pretty good when there wasn't really any viable options out there, but I mean, James Click just won the World Series
yeah,
and is known for player development, something that the Yankees do truly value. It's going to be an interesting free agent and off-season period here for
yeah,
all sorts of different reasons. But this James Click one is just
yeah,
very interesting. We really appreciate all of you within the walk-off community. This thing continues to grow and become an animal of its own. It's a little bit overwhelming, but honestly, we love talking Blue Jays baseball and all the interaction that you folks are involved with us. Thank you so much. Discord, feel free to join it. That is always free. The show, or the link is in the show notes. You can follow us on Twitter at Walk Off Podcast, on Instagram, the Walk Off Podcast. And if you are watching on YouTube currently and you're not subscribed, we'd really appreciate if you hit that subscribe button. All the best, everybody. Cheers.